hunting fish. So I guess bats had some convergent evolution. Or wait, no, I was talking about birds and bats having flying as convergent evolution. They look very similar, but there are some anatomical differences. Uh, it's been a long time since I've taken science courses. I ended up, get back to this drawing. I ended up, I'm going to tell a story, but I want to make sure I'm sort of equal parts painting and telling stories so it's entertaining. But in school, I was very high school. I was a very sciencey person, and I did all the AP classes. Uh, I did well in math and science. We didn't actually have a great art program because it kept getting cut. It was a good art program because of the teacher, but it was bad in the we had to reuse a lot of old art materials that we probably shouldn't have, like clay. You can't really reuse clay over and over again without it becoming kind of watery. So it was very hard to throw. But anyway, I in college I tested very well out of all of the science classes. So I didn't have to take any college, and so I forgot everything. Really, forgot everything. So it's a good thing, I guess. The point of my story is it's a good thing Google exists. Otherwise, I'd probably know nothing. Alright, I'm moving this layer down over these ground edits, because that's what it is. These are both ground edits. I'm going to rename the group. Edits. Right. Yeah. I mean, I was once a sciencey person. I think that does help me a little bit with art, just because I understand why things work and making decisions story-wise, not necessarily knowing how like anatomy works. I mean, that does help though with drawing. Making decisions on why you're drawing something based in reality does help a lot. So was one of the tools in my toolbox, I guess. I'm supposed to be using all of my skills. I'm taking another course, not the one for this cloud, not for the clouds, uh, where we're supposed to become good business people. Because I technically own a business, um, and I'm not a very good business person. And part of it is utilizing your skills outside of whatever your main focus is. So, for example, my main focus is probably painting. I want to paint, but I also have some knowledge of bat wings, right? I have a little bit of knowledge in tea, so stuff like that. You're supposed to try and to do well to leverage all those other skills, those side skills, because they can all end up being important and being useful, not in ways that are readily apparent. So, I'm adding a little bit more to this shadow. It's not quite dark enough, I don't think. I probably shouldn't be making it solid black, but kind of want this just to be a little bit darker. I probably want to add a few more lines. I want to add a few more lines to the topography of this hill, just to match. Kind of see the clouds have got lines. I want to match it a little bit. I want the hill to have a few lines. This might not be the right brush for it. In fact, the lines might actually be going upwards just because of the grass. Um, I don't like it very small. I think I want the brush stroke to be very large, like that. It's fine. I think it's fine. It's not done. I feel like I'm not done with the texture on this hill, but it's okay. It's kind of starting to look like it's reflective, which is not good. Oops. I'll probably have to come back in and re-edit the shadow a little bit. Add his feet, add the cloak, add the head, add this part, which is an arm, hat, and then maybe we'll come in really dark. Add the gradient tool. Even darker. We'll go even darker. There we go. That looks a little bit more like a shadow and less like a reflection. It's still kind of feeling a little bit reflective. And that's because I don't have the grass texture, I think. Grass texture. What brush was I using before? It was a really nice linear brush. Was it? I don't think it's that one. I think it might. No, those are the dots. Those are the dots. It actually might be this one. No, that's not it. One? Nope. Those are dots. It'll be such a shame if I've lost that brush that I really liked. It's in here somewhere, so I guess it's not gone for good. This is a brush I haven't used in a while. It's got kind of a chalky feel to it. I don't know why it does, but it does. So I guess this is a good brush for finishing, I feel like. Because I like my paintings to feel a little bit kind of rough. Kind of nice. I think that's Daisuke Wild. That's from a magic box. It'll tell me if I lift my pen away from it. No, that's Dry Spatter. I guess I don't know what I'm talking about, do I? Anyone with an internet connection could go on a stream and talk about stuff they don't know anything about. Because we live in that era. I think that's great. That's kind of neat. I don't feel like that's useful, but I like it. The dots. It almost feels like the dust is kicking up and the wind is blowing it. Maybe I'll add a few dots. I feel like if I go ham with that, that's gonna look really strange. Like he's like lifting Earth a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't feel quite right. It doesn't feel like it's matching the rest of the painting. You kind of want to use the same design language throughout the whole thing. One? Nope, those are dots. Is it this one? Nope, those are dots. These are all dots. These are all texture brushes. I have some of my own texture brushes, but I don't want to use them. That's okay. It's not great though. Oops, that's not it either. That's the logo I'm making for my my game that I'm coming out with pretty soon. So if you want to play a game that I've done art for, I will let you know what it's actually called in another stream because it doesn't have a publishing name yet. It's codename Monster Slayer. I drew a lot of dragons. We just haven't decided on an actual name. I haven't taken it upon myself to make a name for it. So it is what it is, I guess. It's a mystery more than anything. Oof, that doesn't look right. This is a really interesting texture brush. It looks like it's for adding lines in the sand, like almost like it's farmland stuff, or like maybe etched lines on metal. Probably not what I should be. Kind of looks a little bit too shaky, almost like a scattery on the ends. I want it to a brush that kind of has the smooth hit on the end. Oh, I bet I could go back and watch the video again and figure out where the brush is. Guess it's just a mystery. Wait, mm, that is the one. I just feel like it doesn't look quite right. Yeah, I squished the other one and it didn't look like that. I'll add the lines with this one anyway. Light bits just to show that there's grass and it's not kind of shiny. I'm just color picking from the ground. I don't want it to be too variable because I don't want this to be a focus in the painting. I mean, this guy is nice, but I want everything to wrap around this way. Definitely don't want your eye to stop on this weird pile of grass. I think that's looking okay. You can turn off and on the ground layer to really tell what the differences are. I think that's better. I like that the shadow is somewhere else. It's a very minor difference, but I think it's working. I could down the shadow a little bit, like the darkness. That way it's not too distracting. Mind, can you still hear me? Excellent. Also, good evening. Druid boy. Droid boy? Droid boy, not druid boy. I was about to say, I know somebody named Druid boy. Like, oh, I didn't know you had time to watch a stream. I don't know a droid boy, though. So, welcome. This is a nice texture brush. I almost feel like I don't need to add too much texture, though, to the back part of the painting. So it can afford to be a little blurrier, a little less distinct. Let's see. Now I'm starting to goof off because I don't have something specific to work on. I could go back to my reference photo. Maybe I'll add a curves layer now. Yeah, I'll add a curves layer. I really need to hammer down the light and dark quality of everything. Let's make it a little bit lighter. Not quite all this light everywhere though. So this, and we want the lightest part of the painting to be the center, just because that's my preference. So I will switch it to white, and I will add the radial gradient tool so that the center is very, very bright. I think that this makes it feel like you're supposed to look towards the center a little bit more. And then the next thing I'll do is I'll take a fluffy brush tool. This one's fine. And I will come into these clouds and I will lighten up the light parts just a little bit. Almost like they're glowing. You know, because in some ways they do glow. Clouds do glow a little bit. They bounce light off in a very weird way. It's kind of diffuse. I really do need to get some way to look at chat and paint at the same time. That's really important. Alright, so that's the difference with the light and the dark. I think that's really helping. I think I am actually getting really, really dark in this painting. More than I should. Switch to a harder brush really fast, and then I could edit this dragon a little bit. I feel like though if I work on top of the dragon, it's going to be harder to re-edit him because I have a dragon layer, and if I start messing with the dragon outside